Now, in DaBaby news, it's been reported that the rapper met with 9 HIV organizations and apologized for his insensitive Rolling Loud comments. During the meetup, they discussed HIV facts and shared personal stories of living and thriving with HIV. Now, one person said the rapper seemed genuinely engaged. In a statement released by one of the organizations, they shared that their goal was to call him in instead of call him out, and that they wanted to extend him the same grace each of them would hope for. Sources say that a space for community building and healing could be created if DaBaby connected with Black leaders living with HIV. Do you think it's a good, do you think DaBaby's decision to meet with those groups was sincere? And can he bounce back from this controversy?
Sincere in the fact that something had to be done, right? There's a crisis that needs to be put out. Sincere in the fact. For me, it's still apology not accepted. You don't undo 20-something years of indoctrination in 3 weeks. Rolling Loud was 3 or 4 weeks ago. I would be less than reasonable if I honestly thought that today he does not feel the same way he felt 3 or 4 weeks ago. Change can happen. Yes, this is a start. Perhaps it sparked something in him that will cause him to grow. But you can't convince me that when DaBaby goes back home to his crew or the barbershop or his local corner where he hangs out with his homeboys and they start that same rhetoric, you can't tell me he gonna be like, nah, man, that ain't right. No, he gonna jump right on in and continue with the talk, because the reality of the situation is that is the way that faction of Black men think and feel about the LGBTQ community. They are an anti-gay community. It's in their DNA, it's in their fabric, it's in the makeup of their music, it's in the makeup of their entire swag and of their being. So for me to sit here and say that I need to open up my heart again and let him in, that is literally telling a battered woman to go back to her abuser, because I don't believe change happens that quickly. If it was not for him being called out to the mat, this would not be happening. Now, what I would be less interested in is him meeting with 9 organizations, and more interested in him signing a contract to be an ambassador and an activist for 9 years with said organizations. A 30-minute meeting with 9 organizations means absolutely nothing to me.
Al, what do you think?
You know, I definitely QC where you're coming from on this, but this is a step that was necessary. It was a step of accountability, in my opinion, and he did take accountability and double down, not double down, but double back. He took his offensive comments back, and he was forced to do something that he would normally not do. And hopefully in that experience, something positive will come from this. If nothing else, what we see is that there is an accountability that he took because he saw that he lost money, that he offended people, and that his general understanding of HIV and those in that community was not the correct assessment. Although you're right, and I definitely feel everything you're saying, a lot of people still believe and breathe that perception is reality. And the perception behind this apology is that there was a lesson learned. So hopefully, if we buy into that adage that perception is reality, this can help cure a lot of pain that was created by the words that he used earlier that hurt a lot of people.
I agree. And y'all know how I feel about cancel culture because of quite simply what we do for a living. And every single week we can be called out for offending someone, hurting someone's feelings, and it may not seem like a big deal to us, because once again, it's not about us, you know what I mean? Right. But when it touches that nerve, it touches that nerve. So I'm a little bit more willing to give a little grace with change behavior. You know, you can't go to this meeting and then get back on stage and then say some more foul shit. You're kind of like on probation. Right. I think you're on probation and you really don't have any more chances. You know, I hate canceling Black people unless they're molesters or murderers or rapists. You know, I think what he said was, I think what he did, and not to diminish your pain, Q, because I hope I'm not doing, it doesn't come off that way. What he did was extremely disrespectful and ignorant. I think he's a product of his environment. I think probably a lot of his friends think like that, and people in the culture, in his career, that he's kind of like emulating what they all do. Not to say he's not responsible, because he is, but I would give him a chance to prove himself. Like, okay, you did this first step. Now let's see a step 2 and a step 3 to see if you really meant it. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like the Q's right. I mean, do you think that he's changed his core feeling of what's going on in his mind? No, but what he will do is take accountability in not doing it again. Right. And being more sensitive to the issue moving forward. And a person that has that type of influence will take that over this spew of hate and violence any day.
Most definitely.
Yeah, we can't change someone's core. That's on them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, no matter how many apologies, we can never change. All right. So
please don't get it twisted, because there's the ignorant group in the peanut gallery that always say, y'all can't force y'all lifestyle on somebody. Nobody's trying to force nothing on nobody. What we're trying to do is get you to leave us the hell alone. You ain't got to like me. You ain't got to accept me. You ain't got to want me. You ain't got to go with it. But leave me alone.
I hear that. And I see a comment in the chat from Ashley. Claudia hasn't gone this hard for his comments about women. I'm gonna let you know right now, Ashley. I have heard he said problematic things about women. I heard he punched a fan. I'm just not that familiar with DaBaby. I'm a 48-year-old woman who listens to Eric Benet. I listen to Jill Scott. I listen to some hip hop, but in a way like an older lady does, where I don't even hear the words anymore. I'm at that point in my life where I'm just going by the beat. Like, oh, this is hot. I have no idea.
Everybody, she didn't take her brain pills today.
Listen to DaBaby. I don't know what he says.
She didn't take her brain pills today. Trust me, if she took her brain pills, she would be ready and fired up.
Well, I'm just saying, to the people that say, well, you ain't sticking up for what he says against women. I'm not as familiar with that, but I have heard that he said those things. So yeah, I mean, I think he needs to clean up his act across the board, if that's the case.